YouTube, it's Brian Phillips again. And what do you do when it's windy and rainy and crappy, when you should be out flying planes? What do? You open one of these things, which is the box that's in a bag, the preferred method of shipping from Banggood. We're gonna open this. We'll do an unboxing real quick for you guys and see if you like it. Oh, buddy, I'm excited. What is it? Oh my goodness! Look, hold on, let's give him a hint. Look at this. Show him up close. What is that thing? Airbus A380. Micro-sized. It's gonna be awesome! So, oh wow, that is gorgeous. I hope it's not false advertising. Oh, wow. Ooh, yeah, look at that. This is from XK. Guys, that looks so cool. Although it is an artist rendering, which is another way of saying it looks nothing like that. But we're gonna see how good it looks. These boxes, as you know, from XK, which they distribute some wonderful helicopters. They have worldwide distribution, okay? You can get this anywhere through Banggood. So follow the link, buy one, help support the people that support my channel. Yes, I know you could maybe buy it somewhere else, but you could also support my channel. So anyway, this is for 14 years, 14 plus ages. So all those ages. We're gonna open this thing up. We're gonna show you how awesome it just really is. Now, remember, we may be working on a gigantic runway at my house, my new house. This is not my new house, this is the old house. We are about ready to dump this place and go to the new house, which has been a really nice house. Oh, wow. Woo! Multiple languages. Sounds like 14 languages. Looks pretty good, guys. Wow, this is bigger than I expected and awesome looking. Whoa! That is impressive. They even got the pre-stress on the wings, guys. And it's light enough that I think it's gonna fit. Oh man, that looks really good. I'm surprised the propellers are almost not noticeable. I hope it doesn't fly too fast, guys, because that'll just kill it for me. But it looks really nice, detailed. Look at the antenna comes out the bottom, kind of points forward. That might be a little awkward. I think we'll probably point that backward. Tape over the wires. Obviously, there's no flaps on this model. That's a little bit disappointing. Just kidding, guys. There's no flaps on these. XK has auto leveling technology, which is pretty cool. I believe they have, this has a gyro, so I'm not 100% sure this is 6G, 3X, whatever they call it. You should know these things if you do unboxings on YouTube, but I don't. So, that foam holds in the remote, which comes with it. This controller is a 2.4 gigahertz 3-channel remote control. So basically that means that you're gonna need to put in some batteries. Looks like 4 AA batteries in the back. And then, oh man, that is gorgeous. Guys, oh wow, that looks really nice. I mean, the blue on this tail is a little bit hokey, but they got the lines right. They just didn't put the windshield in the right spot. You see that, guys? That windshield should be up just a little bit, which I think this is, I can't tell if that's painted or if that's a water decal. Either way, from a distance, it looks really nice. And look at the lines, it's actually pretty good. For being an inexpensive model, it's got pretty good strength, actually. Feels like this would take a couple of hits. Servo has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wires. That's always a good sign. There's a linkage. Looks like it carries back to both elevators. It's got a split elevator, which is really cool. There's 3 holes, and they're in the middle holes for now, so in terms of the output rates. Unfortunately, no rudder. But the rudder, the yaw axis, which does this, the yaw axis is controlled by differential thrust. And then the pitch axis is controlled by the elevators. And then of course the throttle will help to generate the lift along with the elevator. So you're going to be able to control pitch, yaw, and roll, which is pretty cool. Looks like the detail on these nacelles is pretty good. I'm assuming these nacelles are going to create a lot of drag because they're not pass-through at all. So if you wanted this thing to fly really good, you could probably pop off these nacelles. But I like the look of the nacelles. I would never do that. The assembly on this sucker is going to be super easy because there's really only one place to plug this in because it's got 5 pins on this little plug. And there's one plug here. So they have made it so it's detachable so you can transport it in your car if your car is really small. We're going to set this aside and show you what else is in the box. XK makes a really nice product, guys. I've been super impressed with how high quality they are for being as inexpensive as they are. Here's the beautiful scale landing gear. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Extra props. Landing gear. Looks, oh, this is how they did scale landing gear. They ran 2 wheels. 2 wheels and 2 wheels instead of 1 wheel. So yeah, probably not gonna wanna look at those too much because they're a little on the ugly side. This box came apart, no big deal. Comes with a screwdriver. This is a Phillips screwdriver, very small, with the hex end standard for XK product lineup. Comes with a charger, and looks like they're running a 3.7 volt, 300 milliamp, 1.11 watt hour. So I'm assuming that's probably like 20C. But it's got this low C connector on there, just a 1S, 1 cell in series. That's what S stands for, series. And then 3.7 volts, which is standard, and 300 milliamp hours. Interesting detail, guys. Why do they call these things 3.7 volts when the charged level is 4.2 volts? I've never figured that out. But either way, 3.7 volts is, I believe, the nominal. That's where you start losing power. So that's a LiPo, a lithium polymer battery. So you do need to be careful with these, and you've got a charger here. It comes with a charger cord that goes into a USB port on your laptop or your tablet or anything that provides that 5-volt output. In my case, the way I charge my XK, and it's got this little drum connector here. That drum connector just slides into the drum connector on the charger, and then you get baby chargers. That plugs in there, and then you're ready to rock and roll. In our case, I actually have another XK product lineup charger plug-in, but I'll just discard that for the moment. And then I'm using this old, we're running on 110 AC here in North America. If you're overseas, you're gonna have a different type of plug. But the important part is to just make sure you don't go too crazy on the output. This is 5 volts at 1 amp, okay? So it's the input is 100 through 240 volts AC at 50 to 60 hertz with a max of 0.2 amp draw. The output is 5 volts at 1 amp. Generally, most chargers are going to describe the output if you have a USB port. So that's how you charge it. You just plug that into the wall. The red light comes on. One thing to be careful about with XK is that these things are a little bit hard to get out. If you're not sure you can get it, get help, okay? If you need to keep an eye on these batteries. The one and only place where you're going to hurt yourself on a plane like this is if you run into your eye or if you start a fire with your LiPo. And yes, a LiPo of this size in the right environment could start a fire, so you want to be careful about that. Generally speaking, LiPos are not a problem unless you do stupid things, which we all do. So here's the book. I'm sure it's all in Chinglish. They call it an A120. This is the A120. It says Airbus A380 on it. It looks very scale for being a glider slash rather airplane. I do not know if it's got any sort of branding from Airbus. I don't see any sort of like genuine mark on there, but I don't care because it looks genuine. So we're gonna just basically get this thing assembled right now, and it looks like the assembly should be really stinking simple, guys. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about is it looks like there's one screw here. Let's take a look at the one screw hole. See, there's one screw hole, and then there's one receiving point for the screw to go into. My concern is, in my haste, I haven't actually stopped to see if there's a screw in here. and it's got to be super dinky, but I don't see a screw that came in my package. So if it didn't come with a screw, I'd be super weirded out, because that would be the first time I've ever missed anything from HK, or I mean from XK. So I'm gonna search close and see if maybe I just missed it somewhere, and then I will tell you where I found it. Okay guys, so we looked a little bit closer, just did some cleanup, and sure enough, the screw was stuck between two of the wheels.
Yep.
So I wanted you guys to see that. If you did have to find another screw like that, many times this type of screw is a type of screw that you would find holding the plastic inside of a toy that comes for your kids. And the reason I say that is because I'm the weird type of person that would keep that sort of thing. So throw the screw on there, hold it with your finger, and that's how you get it started, okay? So we only have to hook up one wire, so it's super, super, super easy. Basically, it only goes in one way, okay? This is keyed. There's kind of a big flat, and then there's two little pins, okay? So what you got to do is put the big flat like this. You can also look at the colors. The colors will line up, okay? So like the brown and the black need to line up. So when you plug them in like this, because it's such a delicate small connector, you do want to be a little bit careful to ensure that you don't bend over the pins. Guys, you see how I did that? It's not hard, it's just kind of awkward with big hands. So I'm just gonna tuck that gently down in. Make sure that you don't get it bound up around there. And the way you can prevent that from being an issue is just like pushing this forward with your thumb after you dive that plastic in there. You getting a shot of that, hon, so they can see?
I think so.
Okay, so then it just sits in there. Man, that thing is really, it's pretty. If you, I almost wonder if you could just paint this white and paint these white and make them almost disappear. Mm-hmm. Because if it weren't for the black here, it would look super, I mean, you see the wings? You see the wings, guys? That does look a little bit weird, but watch this. Once it's under load from flying, it's gonna bend the wings up, just like it would on a real Airbus A380, okay? And I know that if you guys are watching my channel, you've probably seen my other Airbus A380 that I built a while back, and that was a task. So if you guys are looking for something that's fun and a little bit easier, a lot less money, this would be pretty cool. So we're gonna see how this goes together. We'll get it fired up, but we probably can't fly it yet. Okay, so just that one single screw drops down in there just fine. Listen for the crushing foam. That's tight, guys. That's on there good now. Yeah, it's on there good. So as you can see, these wings are strong, okay? And when I say strong, I mean they're strong. They'll put up with some abuse, okay? I think you're probably gonna break these after a few crashes, so just be careful as you can. The same is true here, but I would highly recommend not bending this because you wanna keep that in line, okay? It is gonna matter, it's gonna make a big difference on the way this thing flies. And let's go ahead and get the batteries in. So the power is up, power is down, okay? So just make sure it's on the off condition. Drop in your AA's. I'm using these Revec high energy. There's nothing special about them. They're just regular AA's. And if you're like me, no matter what you do, you'll buy AA's and they will leak in the package before you open them, even though you haven't got to the expiration date. Okay, when you turn this radio on, there's a flashing red light, and then it stops flashing, okay? The flashing light might not happen if I put a battery in here. For the sake of the video, we are gonna show you how to put in the landing gear next, and hopefully the charge will be done on the battery. The charger is not fast unless you put a large USB, a large output USB adapter. I would not recommend doing that, by the way. These landing gear are gonna look really ugly. I'm just warning you guys. They slide in here, it's a compression style. So if you're wanting them to come out super easy, then you may be disappointed because my guess is they're probably gonna go in fairly hard and they're gonna be hard to get out as well. But I like wheels up, wheels down flying, meaning that I take off from the wheels and then I land on the wheels. The position of these landing gear is really not that bad. I mean, in terms of a scale look. Now the nose gear is gonna look totally dumb. But honestly, you're not going to be able to get landing gear that support this type of an aircraft to be scale. It's just, you're just not going to make them. They're just too expensive to make small like that. It is kind of nice for storage too, to not have the big black wheels on there. So what I might do is I might actually break these wheels off and just leave the metal, and then it'll look like it's taking off, which is pretty cool. And let's check the status of the charge. We still have a red light here, guys, so that means it's not done. When the red light shuts off, the charge is done. So I'm just going to unplug this from the wall for safety reasons, and then I'm just going to do my best to grab the plastic and unplug it. I'd be lying if I said you don't have to hang onto the wire lead too, but on these low C connectors, as with many LiPos, you want to hang on to the housing when you pull it out of the charger. The XK product line, they are a little bit touchy on that. So, turn on the power. This is your throttle stick all the way down. Open the battery bay, which has a nice hinge on it, and they also have a switch on here that's an on-off switch. If you can't reach that, use your screwdriver to pull it out. Do not turn the power on until you're ready to have it level, okay? You're thinking, but Brian, that's gonna be hard. Yeah, life is hard, people. So, get this, and the reason for that is that the gyro setup is going to happen. Okay, so you'll notice how I tried to tidy up those wires so that when I close it, it keeps everything from shifting. That will change the CG on this plane, the center of gravity, okay? So you want it to be slightly nose heavy, especially if you're not a good pilot. Okay, so when you turn this on, you need to try to have it level, okay? Lay it on the table, lay it on the counter, turn it on, and then you should be ready to rock and roll. Let's see. Nope. Nope. So now we need to read. I hate reading manuals, but I'm going to do it for you guys because I like you that much. So we'll pause it and we'll tell you what I did wrong. Okay guys, so we figured out one part of the problem we had is that I don't think the battery was charged enough. So I went and did another test here, and I've got an XK low C connector 1S, 3.7 volt, also known as 1S, 500 milliamp pack, which is going to give us a longer flight time too, if we could fly, which we can right now. So, unbeknownst to me, this plane, you got to turn on the airplane first and then the transmitter second. That's typically not a good idea. Make sure you keep the props away from your face and you keep them away from other humans and animals and valuables. Turn it on, then turn this on, the flash stops, and then the elevator moves. Okay, so up, down. Here, I'll come to this side so you can see at the same time. So, brings the nose up, brings the nose down. Now this is a mode 2 transmitter. If you have a mode 1, it's going to be different than this. Okay? You see how that gives elevator? That's mixing, okay? Then of course this is throttle, okay? So then there's also rudder, which I think is kind of weird. See, you can turn that on and off. When it's flashing, you can do differential thrust. And as you guys can see, it gives you yaw effect, which is pretty cool actually. So you can turn that off by just simply pressing that button once. It's just a momentary push button. It's not how you operate the rudder. It turns on and off differential thrust. So this plane, the other thing is if you hand launch it, you just want to make sure that your hand isn't going to get cut by the propellers. It's big enough, you're probably not going to have that issue. And then look at the elevators. It's automatically correcting, so it's going to automatically try to get it in the air for you. So that gyro action is controlling the yaw of the aircraft. Now I'm going to press this button and make the rudder in control from here, and we'll see if it still does that. So throttle all the way up, still does it. So you can control the yaw of the aircraft, and the gyro will also try to control the yaw of the aircraft. The other thing you can do, and this is a good trick for anybody that's learning to fly, is always check. You see this elevator? Get a good shot on a close one. When the nose is down, the elevator goes up automatically. When the nose is up, it automatically goes down. So what's happening is, as you can see, I'm not using the controller, okay? This is gonna automatically level the plane, or it's gonna attempt to level. It's actually gonna bring it to this. This is not probably the best angle, but the idea is when you're flying these things, it's good to know if it's gonna automatically level or if you're gonna be responsible to level the plane. Secondly, I noticed another issue here. My particular unit looks like it might have, that looks like it might be by default. That's probably to counter some sort of a, see, this is at an angle, and this one is at a slightly different angle. I think that's probably designed in purposefully because it looks like it's glued in there, and they have plastic mounts. So we'll see how the thing flies here, and we will set it up. If we had better weather, guys, we would fly this right now, but it's horrible. Let's show them outside. It's raining and windy and horrific.
Yep.
So as soon as it calms down, then we will show you how well this thing flies. And we might even take it out to a new runway. But for the moment, thanks for watching, guys. Come back for more. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips coming to you again with the flight part. Airbus A380. This is from XK. It's going to be awesome. We have our 300 milliamp 1S pack charged, and the transmitter is off, which is weird. But just open up the battery container here, and if you don't have a tool, you can use this to grab the lead, because the leads are always challenging to get out of there. So go ahead and plug it in. There's an on-off switch right here, so just make sure you're in the off position so you don't get your fingers chopped up, because there's nothing that'll ruin your day like chopped up fingers. And these low-C connectors, just check the black is lined up with the black and red is lined up with the red, and you should be good to go. Favor the battery all the way forward. In my best estimation, you want this thing to fly nose heavy as opposed to tail heavy. That is true for most any plane when you're just first learning to fly. Okay, now find a level surface like the top of this truck, turn it on, level, and then on. You'll see it dance. There you go. So now it's ready to go. Do a quick pre-trip. Okay, I have my rudders on by pressing this top button, and that'll give me yaw control. So here we go, guys. Oh, that is so cool. Does not have the best control authority, I can tell you that, because I'm giving it full rudder, and that's all I get. We're going to go up quite a bit, trying to give it some yaw out of the power here. This is just glide. Of course, there's very limited yaw authority. Okay, going to bring it around. Okay, so I believe I've shut off the stabilization or the auto leveling by clicking the upper left button, but I'm not sure. Actually, maybe I didn't. When you give it throttle, it noses up. When you cut the throttle, it noses down. Be prepared, you will have to give it throttle plus full yaw control to get it to turn. See this? But you can pull that stick. Boy, that thing is docile. That's pretty cool. Let's see what it does. Ooh, ooh. Looks just like the real thing, guys. Okay. Not in closing, but so far, I would say that it flies less than desirable control authority. Mostly because the yaw control is horrible, but watch the ground handling. I was amazed by how awesome the ground handling is. You can turn this thing, if you have it on a kitchen island or something, it's super fun because you can practice driving. Now out on the gravel, or the, on the driveway, it doesn't spin quite as free. We're gonna try it without the landing gear now. So I'll actually just show you how easy it is. There's no throttle cut, so I'm gonna have the camera crew hold this.
Okay.
These things just literally pop right out. So you wanna support the plastic underneath. And I've usually found that the easiest way is to kind of rock them, and it will compress this spring. So then they pop out, I just want to see how this thing flies without. You know what I'm tempted to do on this plane, guys, is have you guys go to Banggood, order one from the link below, and then follow my mod series. Because I'm thinking about maybe modifying this, because it is so close to being beautiful. And right now it's kind of maybe not quite there. Wind's coming from this way now. Okay, so now I've got basically no throttle. It just doesn't yaw very well, guys. So don't expect it to turn very well. It does look pretty cool when it's flying. Certainly it's not heavy enough to bend the wings where they need to be. It's pretty calm right now, first time in weeks. Oh, that looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Look at that. Oh, that is gorgeous. And by the way, the elevator control authority also leaves a lot to be desired. So it's just kind of one of those planes where it's like you want to be able to control it, so you kind of give it some input, and then it just kind of does what it feels like doing. But it's a fun little thing. I mean, I almost feel like these easy to fly planes are some of the harder ones to fly, because you have to know what to do to get it to do what you want, and it's not intuitive. You have to give it full throttle. It's like flying a jet ski. You have to give it throttle. Like right now, there's just not enough yaw authority. See, I'm about to land in the tree there. Oh, that looks so gorgeous, guys. What'd you think of that, hon? Pretty good?
It looks cool.
And then if you want to turn sharp, pull back on the stick and it will point the nose up to almost a stall. So here, I'll demonstrate going overhead here, okay? I need to turn sharp. So full back rudder, and it will basically put itself in a stall. And then you can just sharply turn that thing. Okay, now out of the throttle. Stick is at the middle point here. Yeah, see, not quite enough authority to overwhelm the wind. Uh-oh, hon, they're coming for me. Maybe we should go inside quick. Is that the FAA? It's totally the FAA.
Yes.
Oh, that looks pretty cool, though. I'd be a little scared if the Airbus A380 was coming at me doing
flying
that.
like that. Mm-hmm.
You got to really kind of trick it into doing what you want it to. It doesn't really behave well. But you know, it has survived this entire flight, hon. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I always look for one-flight airplanes.
You know what, hon? You would not believe how many one-flight airplanes there are, guys. Just confirm that for me in the comments, please, for my camera crew. Oh, almost my nemesis! Whoa, that was close, guys. I do. It's kind of like, whoa, they're going right there, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
I hope they don't come here. That'd be awkward. It's like there's not even a fire, guys. Okay, out of the throttle. Oh, that looks so gorgeous. See, and the confidence to make the maneuvers that people want to see, you just don't have it.
Car.
Yeah, I can see it. Game on. Game on. Like, do you see what's happening up there? I mean, those people are ticked off. They're like, what am I on that show on CBS? What's that thing called? Oh, here it comes.
Oh, what was it?
Here it comes. Here it comes. Oh, yeah! So, guys, in closing, it's a really fun novelty plane. Is it going to fly? Amazing. I would probably go for a no on that part. But it really does look good. And to be honest with you, if you get rid of these goofy looking stickers, the A380, A120, which is the XK model number, then, you know, if you were to take and try to straighten the wings to the correct angle of dihedral, it actually looks pretty good. I mean, for being a small plane, and I'm actually very tempted to take this thing apart, maybe put some EDFs in here, and just make this thing fly so good you wouldn't believe it. Come back for more, guys. Buy one. Check the link below.